So the UK has this trade deal with the United States, but the question is, does it? And I think yesterday there were these huge events that took place, and today it's sort of unpicking them. And if you'll excuse me, I'll unpick this one, and I'll unpick the election of Pope Leo as well a little bit more over this morning. But this "We Have a Deal" shouts number 10. Unfortunately, they emailed the press the wrong address. Journalists were left marooned outside Jaguar Land Rover's Coventry plant instead of the one in Solihull. And all that sort of symbolises rather poetically the whole state of the whole affair. This triumphant announcement without microphones and everyone sent in the wrong direction. And while the smoke from the Sistine Chapel's chimney has often heralded the arrival of a new pope, and it did on this occasion, this deal, announced the same day as the election of Pope Leo XIV, emits more smoke than substance and certainly has less sanctity. It's the smoke of a mist. It's the fog of uncertainty, and it suggests a fog of subterfuge. It doesn't come across. The more you look into it, the more you think about it, the more it seems to be a dud. And in contrast to the Pope, by the way, I will come back to the Pope later on. What has been agreed isn't a full trade agreement, but rather a patchwork of sector-specific exemptions, primarily designed to appease Donald Trump's tariff regime. So he imposes the tariff, and then he reduces the tariff a little bit here and there, and we salute that as a trade deal. It's not a trade deal. When we're no better off now than we were before Trump imposed his tariffs. Steel, cars, the automobile industry, aerospace engines, these now get a temporary reprieve from Trump's punishing new import taxes. That's significant for Jaguar, Land Rover, Rolls-Royce, and to some extent for farmers. But it's not really a deal, is it? It's just simply Trump won't hit us in those particular areas. It still leaves the UK facing an average 11% tariff into the US, far worse than the 1% pre-2024, and there's no signed treaty, no legal guarantees. As one trade lawyer said, the legal structure of this agreement has the strength of a napkin and possibly less absorbency, because this deal tilts towards American interests. The UK gains modest relief for its steel and auto sectors, a lifeline, not a windfall. And the US in return gets expanded access for beef, ethanol and industrial goods. US ethanol may now undercut British biofuels. It's a blow to UK arable farmers. And while chlorinated chicken is not yet on the table, the principle of asymmetrical access has been conceded. The UK's famed red lines are now more like faint chalk smudges in the rain. Brexiters may proclaim that this long-awaited dividend is here, but the truth is far murkier. The UK has in effect paid a kind of Dane gold to Trump, temporary relief in exchange for mild concessions. As Kipling warned, once you start paying the Dane, you never get rid of the Dane. Once you start paying the Trump, you never get rid of the Trump. We were promised global Britain, a champion of WTO rules and multilateral free trade. Instead, we're undermined, and we have undermined that most favoured nation principle. We've reintroduced the world of bilateral deals, a world where Trump calls the shots and Britain says, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Strategically, we are in a much weaker position now than we were before Brexit. Trump can revoke these concessions whenever it suits him. He's done it to China, Mexico and Canada, tearing up agreements mid-tweet. And politically, Starmer now owns a deal which David Lammy once swore would privatise and dismantle our NHS one bed at a time. That isn't happening at the moment, but the optics are brutal. The government's past tweets may not age as well as a fine cheddar, and far less well than American beef now flooding the market. This deal, then, is not a comprehensive, balanced accord that some might have hoped for. It's a defensive attack dressed up as diplomatic choreography. Yes, it offers relief for a few sectors from the punishing tariffs that were imposed. But when a bully hits you and you beg him to hit you less, that isn't an achievement. You haven't won. You're just taking punishment in a different form. It avoids a trade cliff edge, but it does so by conceding more than it gains, weakening Britain's position in future talks and corroding the multilateral system that it once claimed to champion. If this is the historic deal that we're celebrating, then it's a kind of history best filed under farce. And until a full reciprocal and enforceable agreement is signed, sealed and WTO proofed, we should remember, where there's this much smoke, the fire is usually in someone else's factory or down Trump's underpants.